Hi, people. Me again, of course, as always, and as usual, Moino Wagenberg. Yeah, I'm going to briefly be discussing, as you can tell based on the header, why you should not be insecure about your relationship life, if you will. I've already discussed in the past about, for example, having friends, just overall, as well as an adult specifically, you name it. But now I'm briefly going to quickly discuss relationships. Um, for me personally, I live life at my own pace, in a manner of speaking, specifically when it comes to this subject. And I would recommend anyone to do the same thing. Like, for me, I have like a whatever mentality, like, I don't care, you know? It's quite simple. If I come across a woman or a girl or a woman that I like and it's just naturally clicked to the point where we start seeing each other, okay. But if it doesn't happen, even up to the point where the day that I die, okay, it's all the same to me in a manner of speaking, and that's the exact attitude you need to have because a lot of people in the world are insecure, especially in, I want to call it a toxic climate. Toxic is a bit of an extreme word to use, but in any case, I was born in 85, 1985. In the 90s, it wasn't so much an issue, but starting in the early 2000s, I remember, like, I don't know, either 2000 or 2010, there was like this up to present day, this like relationship culture to the point where if you weren't seeing someone, it was like, or let me rephrase that. Seeing someone became like a status symbol. So essentially, people got into relationships just for the hell of it, so that they could walk around with the so-called title or moniker of I'm seeing someone, I have a boyfriend or I have a girlfriend. And I found it laughable. I was like, look at this nonsense. Are you kidding me? Because these people, generally speaking, were adolescents or teenagers even that had no idea what a relationship is or was or is by definition. For them, it's like some novelty item, like, oh, everyone has a bicycle, I need a bicycle as well. Especially women, they had this mentality. Well, specifically young girls, not underage, but like I said, teenage girls or adolescent girls, you name it. Mentality, I need a girlfriend, I need a boyfriend, etc. As in, oh, look, my female friends, my girlfriends have boyfriends, I need to get a boyfriend as well. But they don't even know what a relationship is, like, as well as globally, more or less, depending on where you are, not obviously not everywhere in the world, but in a notable amount of environments, especially those influenced by Western culture mainly, even from adults, there was like this pressure of, when you're gonna get a girlfriend, when etc. And mainly from women. Guys don't give a shit, bluntly put. But from women, I remember it was 2015. I worked at the call center that my followers are familiar with, and yeah, that are familiar with. Those that know me. In any case, for those that don't know me, I worked at a personal level. I worked at a call center, and I had the same thing. To the point where there was like legitimate pressure, but of course the pressure stopped when people saw that I just didn't care. Essentially, these were young girls that worked there, and I was one of the oldest people that worked there. Everyone was in their 20s, and I was already like in my early 30s, I think, around that time. This was 9 years ago. I was already 30 years old, yeah. So let's just say everyone was between 20 and 25. But you did have like a handful of people that were in my age class, like legitimate adults, and that were working there as in not staff. And the consensus was the same. Like, hey, to the point where even like my supervisor, female supervisor, she was like an old woman, not super old, but like retirement age, 40, 50, 50 years old, something around those lines. And she was like, when are you gonna get a girlfriend, etc. I just laughed it off. I was like, well, that's a good one. Yeah. And it just went on. All of my female colleagues, like, oh, they come up with a bunch of nonsense. Okay, he's gay, he's this, he's that. They stopped the second they saw that, wow, Mourinho does not care. He doesn't matter what we, it doesn't matter what we say or do. He just does not give a rat's ass. He just doesn't care. Like, I don't care. You think I'm gonna bother with you? To like peer pressure me into getting a girlfriend, into being with someone. What kind of logic is that? Anyways, that's the prevailing. part of the prevailing, so-called prevailing culture nowadays. And especially if you're a guy, this applies to everyone, but especially if you're a guy, men, don't fall for it. Don't. Again, I would strongly suggest that you follow my example, just like a normal person. Like if you come across someone that you like, genuinely like, then no problemo. And things just go in their natural way, run their natural course, and you end up with each other. Okay, good. But even if it doesn't happen, okay, even if you're a virgin, for example, and you die one, what's the big deal? There is no big deal. It's only a big deal if you make it a big deal. I remember, I think I told someone back in the day that, you know what your problem is? Your problem is that you make too big of a deal of sex. You like put sex on a pedestal like it's something awesome or amazing or legendary, like it's finding the crystal skull from Indiana Jones or some shit. No. Everyone biologically is here because of sex. Like the reason you're physically here is because of sex. So it's no big deal. Yeah, sex is like having dinner. Do you brag about having dinner? I can't even remember what I had for dinner, I think, the day before yesterday. Hell, even yesterday. That's, to me personally, that's all that sex is. It's nothing. I can have sex with like five women. I'm not gonna walk around bragging, oh, I had sex. I don't care. It's like, okay, dinner booked, done. Sex, the same thing. So it's not a big deal, but it's only going to be a big deal, and you're unnecessarily going to put pressure on yourself and the insecurities, considerable insecurities that can, in the extremest of cases, turn into an inferiority complex that comes along with it more often than not. If you make that mistake by making a big deal of it, so the message is clear, simply don't. It applies to relationships as well as anything that relates to it, such as sex. So intimacy, really, again, even if any virgin is watching this, you're a virgin, you die a virgin, no problem. It's better to die a virgin than to, for example, have sex that you don't even remotely enjoy. And for example, in my personal case, it's not due to a lack of attention. The thing is that I think almost, no, not all, most girls or most women that have tried approaching me, I shot down all of them. I rejected all of them because they either don't meet my standards, I have high standards, or something akin to that. And I told someone back in the day, I think 5 years ago, um, someone that was considerably older than me. I was like, I don't care. Not that the person was giving me a hard time or anything like that. People don't give me a hard time, like I said. But it was just we just discussed it miscellaneously, and I told the person, no, at the end, I either eat delicious food that I personally approve of, or I don't eat anything at all. I do not eat food if it is below 4 stars, so to speak. I either eat a nice juicy steak or I go hungry, period. It's a metaphor, but you can see what I mean with it or by it. So the same principle applies. Okay. Otherwise, uh, again, you can apply this metaphor literally. Would you, who is watching this, would you eat food that you're not content with? Food that is like, doesn't taste the best. Exactly, no. If you had to choose between being hungry for an entire day and eating food like that, would you rather not be hungry than eat crappy food that tastes horrible? Because you're going to arguably be left worse off. You're going to be worse off. You're going to eat and then, okay, I ate, my stomach is full, but that was kind of gross. Food was not good at all. And now you feel slightly annoyed because you ate crappy, shitty food and you know, you're still stuck in the same boat. You still want to eat something, but actually something good, something actually good. And the same principle applies. So again, the message is clear. Don't get taken in by any relationship nonsense or anything like that.